So that's just some of the news on that front. I don't usually get into UFOs, but this is out of the London Telegraph today. UFO files. Winston Churchill feared panic over Second World War RAF incident with giant UFOs. He feared a panic and loss of faith in religion. Newly released secret files show. I'll be covering that later. Very strange. And, of course, I just mentioned this, but here it is out of Time magazine. Should videotaping the police really be a crime? Anthony Graber, a Maryland Air National Guard's staff sergeant, faces 16 years in prison. His crime, he videotaped his march encounter with a state trooper who pulled him over for speeding on a motorcycle. Then Graber put the video, which could put the officer in a bad light, on YouTube. It doesn't sound like much, but Graber is not the only person being slapped down with a long arm of the law. Well, they're misappropriating a law, and it's going to end up getting thrown out of court unless they're able to get him to plea bargain. They're trying to create a new precedent for this. Imagine you're videotaping yourself. A crazy cop pulls up in plain clothes, jumps out, points a gun at you, and the guy's like, "Hey, bro, what's wrong?" Cop comes to his senses, puts the gun away, writes him a ticket. The fella puts it online, and he gets arrested and is facing 16 years in prison. Under this rule, then, all these police cameras and highway cameras are eavesdropping and are illegal against us. What are you going to do, go file charges against the police? You can't do that because there's no perception of privacy in public. That doesn't mean as a society we can choose not to have our tax money fund all those cameras. And I'm seeing these stories out of mainly Maryland, but also Connecticut. I'm seeing them out of Florida. I'm seeing them out of California. I'm seeing them out of states where they don't even have these wiretapping laws, or where they have one-party wiretap laws, where if I decide to record a conversation, then it's okay. That's okay in Texas. But it's not okay, what is it, in 11 states now? But it just shows how they're using this to intimidate people. Okay, that's just one stack. That's just one stack. Look at this one. Mexico looks to legalize drugs as drug war murders reach 28,000 since their new crackdown began. Sorry, I've been saying 24,000. It's now 28,000. Sorry, it's worse than I said. Of course, it normally is. Home video claims to show Arizona police enforcing illegal immigration law at traffic stop. And I watched this video. This is what police do to citizens all day. Now, if you want to say these type of checkpoints are wrong for illegal aliens, they're wrong for citizens as well. Oh, here's another one. Gender-bending chemical in food tins may cut male fertility. That's the male. But look, that's just two stacks, or part of two stacks. I'm going to come back. I'm going to go ahead and start going to your calls. We've got the Iran news. We've got the economy news. We've got just, it's all vitally important. Stay with us. You know, the guys pointed something out to me when I walked out there during the break, two different issues. When I was talking about this headline, feds admit to storing checkpoint body scan images, this is such old news for us because it was admitted in the federal regulations and in the purchase orders in the last few years for the naked body scanners. They first started putting these in at select airports about 6 years ago. And now they're going into almost every major airport, 200 plus. But they pointed out, this article says that it's also in the federal courthouses. And then in places like Denver, they're putting them in at the county courthouses and state courthouses. I mean, this is just all over the nation. And then at a single federal courthouse, they stored 35,314 images of the men, women, and children going in. And it goes on to say this follows an earlier disclosure by the TSA that it requires all airport body scanners it purchases to be able to store and transmit images for testing, training, and evaluation purposes. And it's come out that they're saving those as well and have tried to make TV stars and other people sign color printouts of their naked bodies. So again, lying to you when they told you that these machines can't even store your image and we're not storing it, or don't listen to those conspiracy theorists. You know, they're saying we're taking your baby's blood at birth for the Pentagon. Ha, ha, ha. What's next? That we're drugging the water? And then now they admit they have been for 38 years. And then here's another point. All I did was read the headline from the Baltimore Sun. Federal police officer shot dog in park. And it goes on to say the authorities say man killed husky dogs after fought in park. But the eyewitnesses in the article are saying the dogs were just playing. You know how dogs will jump around and frolic and put their front paws up and kind of run into each other. Bear Bear, a brown and white husky that was about 3 years old, was playing in the Quail Run Dog Park at about 6:30 p.m., running off leash inside the fenced-in area when the officer and his wife arrived with a German Shepherd. Oh, well, you don't. So I guess, you know, if a cop shows up with his dog and his dog runs over to play with yours, if your dog doesn't submit, kind of like if a citizen doesn't get in a praying position, the cops will beat you to death and say you assaulted them, even though it's on their own squad car video. You don't touch them. It doesn't matter. I mean, they've had huge parades in Texas when a police dog gets killed. But then when they kill a citizen, it's like, it's just scum. Their dogs are better than us. Remember Newcastle, PA a few years ago? The guy was in a Walmart parking lot, and the police dog jumped out of the car at him, so he just yelled at it and said no. And the cops didn't like that disrespect, so they charged him with assault for verbally yelling at the dog. Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Bear Bear, a brown and white husky that was about 3 years old, was playing in the Quail Run Dog Park about 6:30 p.m., running off leash inside the fenced-in area when the officer and his wife arrived with a German Shepherd who was kept on a leash. When the dogs began to play roughly, the federal officer asked Bear Bear's guardian, his owner's brother, to call off the dog. But before he could do anything, the officer pulled out a gun and shot Bear Bear, according to the husky's owner. Bear Bear, who belongs to Rachel Ratellia, died of his injuries a few hours later. Well, the dog was probably obviously a right-wing extremist. County police did not name the federal officer. I've been bawling my eyes out since 7 p.m. last night, she said. It's grief mixed with anger. We're so angry at this guy was able to take our animal for what we feel was no reason at all. Well, he's a god, and you're just a blood bag that's there to supply blood to the government. What does Congressman Stark say? The federal government can do anything to you individually it wants. Anything. You have no rights. Goldman Sachs rules you. You will drink poison water. You will have your pension fund taken. Dead vets will have their insurance money taken. The Federal Reserve is your Lord. Period. Shut up and love it. In fact, this woman and this man, for even complaining, should be sent to a FEMA camp. Now, did you even look that God in the eyes? He showed you, didn't he? I've been bawling my eyes out, and they go on from there. We still don't believe that he's gone. We just wanted so badly to be diligent about this. The officer has to pay some sort of consequences for his foolishness. But, I mean, constantly they come to your house with a drug warrant, even at the wrong house, and they'll shoot chihuahuas, corgis. If the dog barks, the officer isn't in control, and in their threat continuum of force, they've got to be in control, and they're going to show you. They're going to show you the blood bag. Look, you exist to serve the state. The state is God. Submit your blood, your energy, your children to the gods. Thank them. Thank them for making the planet Earth. We serve them. They are our kings.